So this video was supposed to be about the draft. It was supposed to include a little bit of draft analysis, just based off just their style of play, where they got drafted and how I think they'll fit and all that good stuff. Like, I was even prepared to go back, because I don't watch college basketball. I was prepared to go back and look at, their college, a little bit of college highlights, a little bit of their international highlights, if they have any G League Ignite highlights, and whatever it is. I was willing to go back and do the research so that I can come to you guys and present a video for you guys today, right? That's not going to happen today, because last night I looked at the draft board for, the first round, and just, who all got drafted. And, I looked at the very front of the list, and I saw a name that I didn't quite recognize. And it just had me thinking like,
who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I read it.
You know what I'm saying?
Probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead. And gets the ball, puts up a three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry. Bryant on the move with the jump.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP Joe Pot, back with another edition of Basketball Weekly. Man, it is our 11th installment. It's our 11th installment of Basketball Weekly. So I even think I talked about the fact that we're in double digits last week. That's cool for me, because I'm usually not consistent on stuff like this, but we are back in it. All right, Basketball Weekly. The season has passed. Like I said in the intro, the draft was yesterday, but I ain't gonna talk about it because I don't know nothing about it. So we're gonna talk about a little bit of rumors, a couple of things that happened since the end of the season, just to kind of get us up to speed, because I ain't a lot of things are about to come at us crazy fast. Like I said, we got day 2 of the draft today. Summer League's gonna start in a week or so. So it's gonna be moving a million miles a minute. Free agency is gonna be starting soon, all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna use this as an episode to kind of get our feet set, get comfortable, and prepared for that time. So here we go, man. We're gonna talk about Paul George first, man. We're gonna talk about Paul George and his current saga going on with the Clippers. So there's a real threat, a real potential that the Paul George era in Los Angeles has come to an end. He won't play another game with them. He's expecting, a 4-year deal from the Clippers. I believe it's a 4-year, $222 million deal with the Clippers. And they don't want to give him that. The Clippers want to give him a 3-year deal. They want to give him the exact same deal they gave Kawhi, which came out to 3-year, $152 million. And they have not been able to, find any common footing, find any common ground when it comes to the contract decision for this player. And it's a tough situation, because I kind of understand both sides of it. I understand the Clipper side of it, and I understand Paul George's side of it. The Clippers are like, hey, you guys have been kind of on and off as it pertains to injury and your health overall. So we don't want to, I guess, tie ourselves down to you long term, because we don't know if we'll be able to, make a move on you. You're only getting older. I believe Paul George is probably 32, 33 by now. So, I guess that the Clippers' idea is that they want to put Paul George and Kawhi on the same timeline, so that after this, because they only want to keep Kawhi and Paul George because they're opening the new stadium. I don't think that based off the last, how long have they been in LA? They got to LA in 2018. Based off the last 6 years of Clippers basketball, I don't think that they're excited for another, 4 or 5 years of trying to, begging for health, trying to get an actual playoff run. So I think they're really only this hard pressed to bring in Kawhi and Paul George, because they need a selling point for that new stadium. It's going to be very hard to bring in those fans away from Laker games, away from everything to do that you can do in Los Angeles, to come to a game that doesn't have any superstars. And on the Paul George side of it, Paul George wants some security. He's only getting older. He's not getting any younger. He's had his fair share of injuries, whether it's been the broken leg, whether it's been, I believe he had a shoulder injury that caused him to miss some time, knee injuries here and there. Paul George is not, the most durable superstar in the league. So he wants security. He wants, I guess his last big payday. Because after this contract, I'm not sure if 36-year-old Paul George is going to be in the market for a $200+ million contract. So he wants to cash out and, get the most out of his career as he can get. And I completely understand that for him. As it pertains to which side of it I'm on, it's I'm not really sure. Because like I said, I see both sides of it. I get why the Clippers want to bring Paul George back, and I get why Paul George wants to try to get his payday. If I had to choose, I'd probably be leaning a little bit more on the side of the Clippers, just for the fact that I would not want to dedicate, any more dollars than I have to to really for anything pertaining to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I was actually very surprised that in January they gave Kawhi that extension. You know, I guess because he had finally been healthy for the first time, and they were like, "Oh yes, all the injury problems are behind us. We won't have to worry about Kawhi being out for an extended period of time." And then boom, he gets hurt towards the end of the season, and he plays what, 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. So like I completely understand. I don't understand why they went in that direction, because like I said, I get the stadium, but listen, man. The Clippers are done. The Clippers are done. The Clippers are somebody that I've had so much confidence, so much belief in. Like from the very inception when they had Kawhi and PG and Lou Will and Montrez and Pat Bev, like I was all on board for all of it. I thought it was finally their time. I thought the Kawhi was the best player in the league, and Paul George coming off an MVP season. So I'm just like, yo, this like they finally have it done, and just year over year, year over year, they don't get it done, and they let you down the exact same way every single time. And I know that it's of no fault to Kawhi. Kawhi can't help that he gets hurt, or Paul George can't help that he gets hurt, but I've had enough. I've had enough of the rigmarole of being taken on this journey of, is he going to be healthy or they're not going to be healthy? Oh my God, this team looks amazing. Oh my God, this team looks like trash. Like when they made the move for James Harden this season, I wasn't excited for it. I didn't think that like, oh yes, this is finally the move we need that's going to get the Clippers over the hump and get them to a title. Like I was just like, they're going to have the same shit that happens to them every other season. They're going to look fantastic at certain points. They're going to look like the best team in the West at various times throughout the season. But you already know, once it comes down to May, when it comes down to June, when it comes down to April, they're going to get tight. And when they went through that losing streak, I guess towards the middle, a little bit after the All-Star break, everybody was kind of just like, there go the Clippers. There go the Clippers. And then, they kind of get it back, and they get it all back together. And then Paul George has an injury. James Harden, I believe, missed a little bit of time. Russ missed a little bit of time. And the big fish, of course, Kawhi Leonard loses. He gets hurt. He hurts his knee, and he misses the rest of the season. And that's basically it. That's the Clippers in a nutshell. And I'm, for one, am tired of it. I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying? And as for the Paul George aspect of it, like, listen, PG, I don't know. It's such a conundrum, because it's just like, PG, I don't think that Paul George really loves basketball anymore. I think this past season he had a good season. You know what I'm saying? He remained healthy for a good portion of it. Another playoff run where he was by himself without Kawhi Leonard. But I don't think that Paul George is a championship player. I don't think that Paul George is, somebody that is going to be a vital piece to a championship team. Like right now, Paul George is linked to the 76ers and the Golden State Warriors. Neither of those teams, I think that if they get Paul George, become championship contenders. Now, if it was 2016 or 2017 and he wanted to join the Warriors, then yeah, absolutely. That would put the whole, anybody could be KD thing to the test. But at this point of his career, like, I don't know. There's just something about Paul George that just doesn't connect with me anymore. You know what I'm saying? When Paul George was in Indiana, he was that dude. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of dog in him. He was, He had the skill set that, it was really just like aesthetically pleasing to watch. He had the tween. He had the step backs, a very smooth game. Everybody knows about the whole Erykah Badu thing and all that stuff. He was just like, I feel like he was a different player. And just over the last couple of years, and he's had various interviews and just various quotes that come out, and you just see him on the floor, and he's just like somebody who time and time again shows you that you can't rely on him. You can't rely on it, and it's different for him than it is for Kawhi, because you can't rely on Kawhi because you can't rely on Kawhi if he'll be on the court. You're not sure if Kawhi will be able to be on the court to actually play in the games, be able to make a difference. Paul George can be in the game. Paul George can, play 42 minutes. He can play 44 minutes. And there's an opportunity where he puts up an absolute stinker, an absolute garbage can performance at a time where somebody like Paul George who's trying to get paid $222 million, you can't afford to disappear in those moments, bro. You can't afford to do that. And he's done it time and time again. He's done it in Indiana. He did it in OKC when they couldn't make it out the first round. He did it in his very first playoff series with the Clippers, very first playoff run with the Clippers, where, he played the whole playoff P situation happened, and he started playing like absolute garbage against the Nuggets. And then, it's just, I just don't think that Paul George is worth that kind of money. I don't think he's worth that kind of money. I think that a 3-year, $152 million deal is very good for a player of Paul George's caliber at this point in his career. So if I had to decide like where I wanted Paul George to go, I think that it would be the most interesting fit for me would probably be the Golden State Warriors, because if Paul George gets on the Warriors, that means almost like surely that Clay is gone or Wiggs is gone. Like they're gonna have to ship one of their main guys, or it's not their main guys, their main rotational pieces, in order to bring in a guy like Paul George. But I think that Paul George's play style is something that really fits, especially with this new version of the Warriors, where it's a lot of like, Steph, has the ball in his hands, a lot of pick and roll, not so much of, giving the ball to Draymond and having them run off screens. They still run off screens, not even every once in a while, a high majority of the time, but they just, they want the ball more in Steph Curry's hands. And I just think that with Paul George being there, like he's a great wing to play off of Steph. Like I said before, in 2017, people were saying that, you could have replaced Kevin Durant with Paul George and the Warriors still wouldn't win a championship. And to a certain degree, I think you could be right. To a certain degree, I think you could be right, because you're putting in somebody who has the ball handling, who has the 3-point shot. He's a great catch and shoot player. He has the mid range game. He has a very solid post game. Like he's like, for a team like the Warriors that needs really just like scorers outside of Steph, because Wiggs will go cold and Clay will go 0 for 10 in an elimination game and all that good stuff. Draymond's not an offensively great player. They need more people that are going to be able to put the ball in the bucket. And I think that a team of Steph Curry, Paul George, and Jonathan Kuminga, you could potentially work with that. So, hey, man, the Clippers are in a tough spot. A very tough spot. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that Paul George is really too infatuated with becoming I don't think he's a basketball player anymore, bro. He's a podcaster. It's a damn good podcast. Paul George is a podcaster, bro. That's his main focus. He said that he spent hours. I think he said he took 2 weeks studying Stephen A. and Shannon and Skip and all those guys, just trying to gain tips. And it's just like, bro, the Clippers haven't won a championship ever in their franchise, and you're over here trying to get ready for your next career. It's just like, I wouldn't pay for that shit either. All right, man, let's go ahead and roll over into our second topic. We're going to be staying in LA, man. We're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. So hopefully this is not a situation where I'll be talking about the Lakers a million times over the course of this summer, because everybody knows that they love to be in the freaking news cycle. During the NBA Finals, we were talking about the Los Angeles Lakers because they were trying to get Dan Hurley from UConn. And, it's just like, in the middle of the NBA Finals, we're talking about LeBron and AD and the Lakers, and it's just like, it's not about them anymore. Like, it's really tough, man. Because I used to be a Lakers fan. I was a huge Lakers fan. If you've been on this channel for any amount of time, Kobe Bryant is my guy. I love me some Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Like, the day that he died, honestly, like, crushed me on the inside. Like, I still don't think I've honestly recovered from the day that Kobe Bryant passed. So, like, I was a huge Lakers fan. I was all thing Lakers. I loved that, Derek Fisher and Trevor Ariza and Bynum and Powell. And I went back and I did all the research for Magic and Kareem and Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and all this other stuff. Like, I was deeply, deeply entrenched in it. And I think that a part of growing up really is realizing that the Los Angeles Lakers are a clown franchise that got extremely lucky. They got extremely lucky. This is not a franchise that, has a high amount. Like, they don't have like way more money than other franchises. They're actually one of the poorer franchises, I believe, in the in the entire NBA. This is a team that lucked into a lot of great players. Like they had Jerry West. They trade for Kareem. They draft Magic. They trade and draft for Kobe. They get Shaq. Shaq wants to go to LA. Like, I think they are a team that really benefits just from the fact that they are in Los Angeles. Like, that has been their claim to fame over the course of their entire existence, because they're not really a well-run team. If you watch the documentary on Hulu, oh my God, not Showtime. It's another documentary where they're talking about just, it's mainly wrapped around the 2020 series. No, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, it's going to piss me off because I can't remember. I cannot remember what the name of this documentary. But in this documentary, it really just gave you a full history on the Lakers franchise. Like from the very beginning, when Jim Buss, that's Dr. Jim Buss, right? Takes you all the way back to when Dr. Jim Buss first got the team, and just like his crafting of it, getting Pat Riley, having Jerry West, all that. It's mainly about the Showtime era. I'm really mad that I forgot the name of it, but in that documentary, it opens your eyes really just to see that like this wasn't really like this. Like I feel like the Lakers are who they are because of pure luck in a lot of cases. Just a fact of pure luck and location. You know what I'm saying? They got, Jim Buss, he bought the team, you know what I'm saying? They were nothing when he bought the team. You know what I'm saying? They were playing in the Forum. They weren't a super exciting, super popular team. And they luck into, Magic Johnson. You know what I'm saying? They luck into Magic Johnson, and he comes and he makes them relevant and lets them bring in Kareem and lets them, you know what I'm saying? They bring in, who is it? They bring in, not Elgin Baylor. Is it Elgin Baylor? Not Elgin Baylor. They bring in somebody, and from that point on, they're basically rolling as a franchise. They're rattling off championships. You know what I'm saying? I was saying before, they get Shaq, they get Kobe. They're just like, and you get this feeling that they're just like a well-run franchise that's run by a mastermind. And I know they had Jerry West in that front office for a good time, so they did have a mastermind in there, but they're not a well-run team, especially in the modern day. Like ever since Jim Buss died and the team's been run by his children, like the team is not a well-run team. The team is not a well-run team. So let's talk about the Lakers offseason so far, man. So the Lakers offseason started off with them firing Darvin Ham on May 3rd after a 4-1 loss to the Denver Nuggets, right? So then from that point on, you know what I'm saying, everybody gets the idea that JJ Redick's going to become the new head coach because he has the podcast with LeBron, and he just has all this buzz and all this hype, and it just seems like a match made in heaven for the two. And in the midst of doing that, everybody is focused on JJ. Everybody's like, JJ's the guy. They get bold and they're like, hey, Dan Hurley, we know you just won 2 back-to-back championships and everything. I know you think that, like, you're hot shit. You know what I'm saying? You about to go and win 3 in a row. Like, you're doing a real big over there, bro. You want to come over to our franchise and come, like, help get us right? And that's what, and that was, like, a real thing in the news for over the course of the week. But everybody knew there was no way in hell that Dan Hurley was going to leave the back-to-back defending championships, the back-to-back defending champions, to come coach the NBA. I didn't think it was a possibility. I think that he'd be a fool to do that, to go to a place where everything you do is scrutinized. The Lakers head coach job, especially since LeBron has been there, well, I guess not even, really in their entire existence, it's been a heavily scrutinized job. You know what I'm saying? I believe the Lakers have gone through, 10 head coaches over the last, decade? Like, this is not a team where you really, like, plant your roots and you get comfortable to stay there for the next 10, 20, 30 years, or, 10, 20, 30 years or so. Like, this is a team where you're gonna be around. So you'll be there for as long as things are good. Because the minute that things go bad, we got to find a scapegoat, and it's always, always, always the coach. So Dan Hurley says, nah, I'm good, y'all. I'm not really fucking with it. I'm going to stay in college. And they go and they're like, oh, yo, hey, JJ, hey, buddy. Yeah, man, we think that you are the guy for us. And on June 20th, JJ Redick is hired as the next coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I have many, many feelings about this hire, because JJ Redick is a guy that has no coaching experience outside of, I believe, he's coaching a 4th or 5th grade team, a team that I believe his son is on. So, do with that what you will. And for the Lakers to hire a guy that has no experience, he's an ex-player, which is fair enough. He has level of experience, but he has no coaching experience on any level. And he also does a podcast with your best player. Your best player, who also came out and said, don't make your coaching decisions based on me. Make it based on Anthony Davis. So they went and they bring in JJ, who has no coaching experience and has a podcast with LeBron James. And what's the selling point? What is the point that made you feel like JJ Redick was the guy to bring in? Like, and I'm not saying JJ Redick's not the guy. I'm just curious, what is the decision making that made you? It's like, because based on, like, did he really blow you away in that interview? Because if he did, well, no, because he couldn't have, because you guys were talking about hiring him before you guys even interviewed him. So you guys were blown away with him before you guys even got a chance to really talk to him. So what could it be that really, swayed your way of thinking to thinking that JJ Redick is the guy for our team? Is it the fact that he's on YouTube drawing out after timeout plays with LeBron? Is it the fact that he's talking basketball with LeBron, and LeBron seems to be, like, on board and like, yeah, like, this is I like it. I feel what this dude is saying. Is that it? Like, what was the deciding factor to making JJ Redick your head coach? I want you to understand it. I want you to understand it. Like, I'm also somebody who was like, oh, I'm tired of the same coaches getting recycled. I'm tired of the same exact names, especially fucking Doc Rivers being brought up. And, oh, Doc Rivers linked to this team. Doc Rivers linked to that team. Oh, he's been fired by this team. Now this team's like, it's always just the same thing over and over and over. So I'm glad that it is a brand new coach. I'm glad that it's somebody out the blue getting a first chance. But Darvin Ham got his first chance with the Lakers and took them to the conference finals one year. They lost in the first round the following year to the defending champions, and they got fired. Make that shit make sense to me. AJ Griffin was also a first-time head coach last season. Started off going 30 and 13. They were top 3 team in the East, and he gets fired. I just don't think that we're giving first-year coaches, like coaches that honestly deserve it, coaches that have served time on a bench, served time, learning the actual job and not just talking about it on YouTube, doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I know JJ is a player and he has that experience also, so I don't want to take that away from him. But it's just like, it's just a B. And then you have the whole issue of like, oh yes, he had a podcast with your best player. So now are you gonna have the issue of people in the locker room saying like, hey, is this really coming from Coach JJ, or is this really like an extension of Coach LeBron? Like, what really is it? And then at the same time, we're also hearing that there's no guarantee that LeBron James even comes back. LeBron James is telling you like, hey yo, don't make no decisions based around me because I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. Now, LeBron could be lying. They could, feel very strongly that LeBron is coming back. LeBron very well may go back to the Lakers. But I just don't understand why everything the Lakers do has to feel like a home run move. I think that's what really turned me off from them. The fact that everything that they do has to be a home run move. They don't ever just take their time and build. You know what I'm saying? Like, even during their rebuild before LeBron got there, when they had Lonzo and they had B.I. and D-Lo and everybody and all that good stuff, like, over those years, they did an awful job of, what's the word I'm looking for? Of developing those players. They did an awful job of developing them. D'Angelo Russell became D'Angelo Russell not when he was LA, but when he got to Brooklyn. Brandon Ingram became Brandon Ingram not when he was LA, when he got to New Orleans. Same thing with Julius Randle, same thing with Larry Nance, same thing with Josh Hart, same thing with every other one of the young Lakers that were drafted by this team and got better and became an all-star somewhere else. Jordan Clarkson got better and became a 6th man of the year somewhere else. It's maddening to me. They have the ability to draft talent. They can have talent on their team, but they're just so infatuated with hitting this home run, with being this great, championship franchise every single year. And it's like, I don't got the pieces for that. There's no culture set for that. There's no culture set by the Lakers for you to think that they honestly are a championship franchise, outside of the fact that when they had the best players in the world on their team, they were able to kill. So, like, that's what really turned me off from the Lakers, because there were various off seasons where it's like, oh, we're gonna get LaMarcus Aldridge, we're gonna get Carmelo Anthony, we're gonna get Kawhi Leonard, and you were wrong on every single one of them. And the only reason why you're relevant to this day is because LeBron James decided that he wanted to come to your franchise and resurrect you, and he wanted to bring you guys a championship the year that Kobe died. The perfect swirl of things happened. And you guys win this championship, and you guys are, boom, right back into relevancy. All because LeBron decided to come back. If LeBron doesn't come back, I don't have a good feeling at all that the Lakers are able to get this thing together. They'll still be drafting the lottery to this very day had LeBron not decided to join the team. And that's just the facts of it all, because they're not a well-run franchise, man. They're not a well-run franchise. That's all I got for this one, man. Make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Let me know in the comments, just how you guys feel about the whole situation going on for both the LA teams. Will Paul George be a Clipper next year? Will the JJ Redick hiring even work? Will it be will it be successful? Or is it just going to be another one of those experiments where the Lakers try to hit a home run and they miss again? That's all I got for you guys, though. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace and love, family. Deuces.